Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, October the 16th, and YouTube has decided that they want to make it even more difficult to just start streaming. So, it turns out the daily reward in Magic the Gathering Arena is actually a daily reward. And you can get up to 15 rewards every single day if you get 15 wins. And right now, since I'm in the early stages of that, yesterday, um, yesterday, which was Tuesday, which was the day I didn't stream, I did choose to play 15 games and get those rewards because it's getting me more cards. It's potentially going to let me stay ahead of the curve, at least with the free-to-play players, which honestly, I'm not even really a free-to-play player here when I threw money at it to begin with. But that also means that as I'm trying to get a handle on the different kinds of decks, I got the daily quest done, which, okay, I guess it really doesn't matter in the long run. But it will mean we will play until we're out of news. We're finally starting to get some games that came out on Steam. I don't know whether it was probably just the Christopher Columbus Day. I think Valve may have taken the entire previous week off, if not just a 5-day weekend. So what's missing here from the last time is the account mastery, and we are either limited somewhat on getting any more XP as far as the other mastery, or I just didn't play any more games and I somehow lined up exactly on 0 of 1,000 XP for the next level there. So let's start with that. We're on level 24, and 25 would be another mastery orb. We want to get all the mastery orbs for sure, which means we want to get up to level 100. But also, I feel like this is going to change at some point. And I hope it's not too quickly. So I have an orb here. We'll just put it... We'll go in order and... Oh, can't click on that one. I'll click on that one. Yeah, we'll just go in order here. These mastery orbs are just getting us card faces, whereas here the other mastery, geez, how do we even see a count of mastery here? Mastery tree, page 1. Interesting. My account has, the account mastery has just disappeared completely. It's not even... They bothered to animate it. I wanted to show off that I had done 100% of the account mastery and shown off that mastery tree. It's not here. Profile. Pet select is here. Change avatar is here. 15 more days to decide whether I'm going to play or not. So probably sometime next week, I guess, or 2 weeks from now, or slightly less than 2 weeks from now. I guess that would be maybe the Monday after next Monday. Pack wise, we've got 3 packs, so we might as well keep opening these. I'm still not really sure what cards to use or what, so they're still in a weird position there. Like, I clearly have cards, and I'm gonna have to use Untapped, the net deck to build a deck, because there's really no other way to do it right now. But I do want to wait after that 15-day point. Let's do 1 month just playing on our own accord before we start playing net deck decks. Suppose card game related, there are once we did account mastery, we unlocked the 5 decks that are half and half decks. So Boris Legion, which is a white-red, Gorgali Swarm, which is a black-green, Aziri League is a blue-red, Orzhov Syndicate is white-black, Simic Combine is blue-green, and then Silenese Conclave, Celestia Conclave is white-green. Actually, that's more than 5, isn't it? And then Gruul Clans is red-green. Cult of Rakdos is 5 is black-green. And then House Demir is blue-black. And then Azor Senate is white-blue. So it's like 10 packs that we got. So I don't know if you really would ever want to play a pure white or a pure green or pure red or pure black or pure blue anymore. See, if I was going to import, I guess people could give me their suggestions and I could try and import them, but I almost certainly wouldn't be able to craft things. I have all kinds of card styles. Is there a way to filter this to, let's see, new, collected? We could filter the collected, but there doesn't seem to be a filter for new. So we've got all kinds of card styles, and I think they pretty much are just selecting the fancier card styles by default. I don't see a real reason why they wouldn't want to do that. So it seems almost certain that you wouldn't play with the regular card styles. What would be interesting to look here is if we clicked on what has not been collected and just scrolled through to get a general idea of how many cards are in Magic the Gathering Arena. I think it's a massive amount, really. I think it's hundreds, if not hundreds of cards. Magic the Gathering has the history and the reasoning behind it where it would make sense that if they're just taking things from previous generations and improving upon them, or just making more and more copies of the same thing, or slight variants of the same thing. I'm noticing that some of these cards side by side look nearly identical. So those probably are variants of the same thing. Here's a great example of this. Like, what's the difference between Grasping Scoundrel? Grasping Scoundrel gets +1/+1 as long as it's attacking. Okay. And Grasping Scoundrel. One of these says M19, which is not playable in Standard. And one of them is some other expansion, which is not playable in Standard. So there are just variants. And the only thing that seemed like was the difference was the little logo on the side. Which, frankly, Magic the Gathering Arena could get around that and just ignore that part. We don't need one-to-one parity with the actual card game. But yeah, we're just at the reds right now. In all fairness, it does seem like this is still kind of doable as far as cards right at the moment. Now, the rotation is the problem that I've run up against as far as Magic the Gathering in the past. So if 90% or all of the cards we're looking at right now get rotated out very quickly, or in a year's time, and then you just have to buy more cards. That's not going to work for me, certainly. And there is this opportunity now, since League of Legends, Riot has decided to capitalize on the Hearthstone controversy and announce their own League of Legends based card game, as well as several other League of Legends based games. Now, of course, Riot is also owned by Tencent, so like that, or NetEase. Like, I'm fairly certain Riot is owned by a Chinese company, so I don't see how that would help anything much. Man, that is just so crazy that your account mastery just disappears. It totally does. Like, there's no way to see it at all. So, I doubt that data that was downloaded got deleted though from my hard drive, so it's probably just gonna sit there for all eternity, wasting space. Anyways, let's start playing. Sorry for the slow startup, it's always the case. We're at Silver Tier 1, and people want to see the mixed decks, so we'll just play through all the mixed decks, and then we'll start talking about the news, of which we have a little bit to talk about. Actual news, not a ton, frankly, but there are video games that came out. So let's cover some things here. These cards, I don't know how these work in the real world, but it's 2 cards, take your pick, play one or the other. I guess maybe they don't have a card back at all and you have to play one side of it. That's about all I could guess. I'm just going to keep all 7. I'm not sure if that's the right move, but as far as how the game depicts them, you're shown 2 cards. One is usually relatively cheap, one is usually relatively expensive, and whichever you play, which that does give you the option. Here we have some kind of fire fox creature or dog-like creature. I want to keep an eye on the pets to see if there might have been a pet available previously, which means there might have been a mastery previously in the beta, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly the case. Eventually, I will get down to the point where I'm not going to play extra Hearthstone ever. Or, well, I'm definitely not playing any extra Hearthstone, but this is going to be one of those cards that you can play at any point. So, eventually I'll get down to the point where I don't play any extra Magic ever, but right now I'm mostly enjoying it, and actually it works kind of well if I have nothing to do after streaming, after I've covered all the news, to just I almost certainly never get around to recording anything else anyways, so I end up sitting around doing nothing. So if I'm sitting around doing nothing, I might as well be playing Magic. Yesterday I played through Free Cell Quest till it managed to ruin Free Cell for me. I've never been a huge fan of Free Cell, but what Free Cell Quest does is just terrible to it. It adds Free Cell, which is usually a cool, calm game that you can look at the score and you can look at the timer if you want after you've beaten the game, but you don't really look at it while you're playing the level. These are special lands, but a lot of times they enter the field tapped, or you have to pay 2 life. Sometimes you can pay 2 life. First strike until the end of the turn. Let's see. Flying and haste is not bad. Now the question is, do I want... This one has death touch, so I don't want to attack with the other character, but I can attack with the flying character. This one has mentor, so it would give a bonus to something with lesser power, which I guess power is the attack power. See, and if I block, he'll kill me with his death touch, so I don't want to do that either. Our little fox makes sounds. So yeah, I played Free Soul Quest.
You should fear those born of darkness.
New Planeswalker. There's lifelink.
The strong.
Alright, so this guy has 4. And I don't know how this really works. Like, it seems like they have 4, but then it says +2. So now it's at 6. And these cards are so small, it's hard to read what the text is so small on these Planeswalkers. I understand now why the Planeswalker cards in particular don't seem to... Let's see. 3 damage to any character. So we'll do 3 damage to this. And then I'll attack with this, and I could attack here or I could attack here. But yeah, I understand why the Planeswalker cards are so much bigger now, is just because how much text they're putting on them. Like, you literally can't put much more text on an average Magic card without getting rid of the picture, and I don't think you can get rid of the picture.
What a mess I've made.
Let's see. First strike. Alright. I'm gonna attack with everything this time. And we're gonna attack the Planeswalker. And then I'm going to use this to buff this guy up and see if the first strike kills that guy without it doing any damage to me.
Worse than you.
So all I have is land right now. This one enters the battlefield tapped. This one enters the battlefield regular. This one enters the battlefield tapped or untapped, depending if I want to pay 2 life force. So I've been playing. I've been playing all night before this point. Rime, R-I-M-E. I remember getting reviewed as kind of a super short game that wasn't like that good. I kind of disagree. Like, I think the game is plenty long enough, and it feels, frankly, just fine as a game. I'm probably rather close to being done with it, but yeah, it's been playing fine. There's a slight criticism. I'm in the second act, or just finished the second act, and the second act has this antagonist creature where the first act really didn't have an antagonist creature. It also seems like the first act had a bunch of collectibles that I missed, and I'm not sure the game is really worth playing.
Fighting tooth and claw is what it takes, and so be it.
So this guy has played like 3 Planeswalkers.
I am proud of those who walk beside me.
Now I would say Planeswalkers seem to be pretty powerful. and they seem to synergize to some crazy strategies if you understand what they're doing. But they also do seem to not really be as much of a challenge as you might think they would be. It's not like they play a Planeswalker and then it is game over for you. Let's see. Enter the field tapped again. You can definitely attack here. 6, 3. There you go.
We must regroup.
So sometimes I think it must be at certain points a smart move to take out Planeswalkers instead of just attacking.
My plans do not include you. Vampirism is a useful trait.
But I don't know. I'm getting a lot of talking here. That's, I think I was playing against a regular person, right? We're just playing ranked, so he's just emoting, or the game itself is just talking, which that would get annoying really fast if the game just started talking. Okay. Next. All attack. Do we really need to do all attack on this? I don't think so. You know what? We'll just all attack that anyways. Let's see. Whenever the charger rock attacks targeting creature without flying, gains flying until the end of the turn. Okay. So we can give another character flying. And we can give the other character mentor. Yeah, mentor gives a +1/+1. Right. So which one do we want to kill? This one? Let's see. Put one on that, yeah. And we have something here. We can get +1/+1. And then can we use our ability again? No, but I tapped myself. No, I didn't tap myself.
You have erred.
So yeah, I'm enjoying Rhyme well enough. Maybe I'll find that I spent like $20-25 on that game, and then I'd be upset. But as long as it's a $10 or less game, it seems fine. It seems to be heavily influenced by Journey and the Eco Shadow of the Colossus Last Guardian trilogy. It feels like it probably initially intended to have something like a Legend of Zelda 3D gameplay to it, where you were fighting enemies. It could definitely
at your service.
benefit from having just some battles in it, something to balance out the puzzles and the platforming. And there isn't a ton of puzzle and platforming, but compared to a medium effort or low effort Steam game, this is still miles ahead. And I'm glad it didn't just end up as a PlayStation exclusive. Yep, I think this guy has got me dead to rights. I don't think you end up with 3 planeswalkers and all this without it. Alright, let's see. Yeah, that's a mistake. I shouldn't have buffed that guy up because what this is going to come down to is I could have buffed this guy up later on. Okay. All attacks go there. And okay. So that gives that one flying again. He seems to have no flying creatures. And then I could use this to buff myself up if I wanted to. Doesn't really do anything. But this is kind of an example of what I shouldn't be doing.
Another time.
Yeah, had I just saved that mana, I could have defended with this against this, gotten it up to a 7, and defeated by blocking that character. Alright, well, since there's not much other news as far as what I've been doing, I'll play some more Rhyme, finish that, then I think I need to probably start uploading the Lego City Undercover series, which I'm finished with that. I'm not sure I mentioned that. It wasn't a good Lego game. Certainly, that's the short of it.
Race the bloodlust.
And it still had the micro stuttering issue, so I'm not gonna immediately want to go into this. I wish there was a way to adjust some of your pet things, because I'd like to be able so he doesn't make sound effects. I could probably turn down some of the audio. So here's my only block. If I did a block here and then used his ability to a 7, I could have killed that, but that's pretty much it. When you click this bottle, he changes color, which is cool, I suppose, but it doesn't stay that color. So if you have a perfect preferred color, you can't stick to that. So you get 3 different picks. You can be orange, you can be light blue, and you can be dark purple. Alright. First, haste. First strike and enter. And what is this doing? Let's see. What does it say? It says Tajik Legion's Edge gains first strike until the end of the turn. Okay. So would there be a reason to give yourself first strike twice? Not really. I've definitely not been facing the... There we go. Give that guy flying. And give that guy a +1/+1. Which means I could have given this one a +1/+1. Well, of course I'm gonna lose. So we'll have to leave it at that. And yeah, we should just start covering the news, and then we'll be done for today. There's no guarantee that I'll always start these streams early in the morning. I'm in a weird position with my insomnia right now where I'm waking up at like 2 or 3 in the night, or maybe as early as 10 p.m. and then staying up until 6 or 7 in the morning, which then means I usually fall asleep right after these streams. Yep, he should take damage. And by the way, they do all the damage. They could probably save everybody some time if they just said as soon as you hit 0, that's the end of it. Game over, move to the next thing, but they don't seem super interested in caring about that. So that's Boris Legion. Let's try Gogari Swarm. I don't think I'll be naming these decks very often because the names are ridiculous, and the names of most of the cards seem to be ridiculous. So, first news story, Gamasutra has an article here. Divinity Fallen Heroes placed on indefinite hold by the studio Larian Studios. This is the studio which is also developing Baldur's Gate 3, explained that finishing the production of the RPG-infused tactics titles would require more time and resources than are currently available. It's probably a good thing to hear said out loud sometimes. Like, a lot of times, let's mulligan this thing so we have something we can possibly play in the first. Oh, should I mulligan again? I'm not gonna get anything better. Let's just keep 5. Put that at the bottom of the deck. It's probably a great card, but and then I think I've got to put this at the bottom of the deck too. I guess if you have stronger cards, then you start running into that problem of needing more mana, more land to summon those stronger cards, and you might have more of a need for that than you realize. So let's look at this card. Crawl Harpooner. It has reach, so it can attack flying things. Undergrowth, the ability to check the number of creature cards in your graveyard. This ability checks the number of your card in flying. When played, choose up to 1 target creature with flying you don't control. Crawl Harpooner gets +X/+0 until the end of the turn, where X is the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Alright. Let's play this. And then do this. And then we could play one of these that would give a card +1/+1 in Death Touch, but we don't want to. We would much prefer the destroy target artifact, creature, enchantment. I hate how this works, where if you can play a card, it's just gonna stall the game. Previous Magic the Gathering games, I think, have had a bit of a timer, which is like it'll just pass after 5 seconds, 10 seconds if you're going to chain. Slowing things down, I don't think helps anything. And I don't know if this really is out of... This is out of beta, I'm pretty sure. But it kind of sucks that there definitely are some improvements that could be done. By the way, defenders really can't attack ever. At least so far as I've found. That there might be some way in the future that I haven't found yet that will allow a defender to attack. These resolving actions too, by the way, just they're super slow because it's asking him. He clearly has an instant card. Which, yeah, this is a part of the problem. Part of the problem of Magic is that you can just... You have to declare you've ended your turn several different ways. Alright. I think next turn I could do this and destroy this creature. But I don't think he matters too much either. Let's see. Menace, a creature with menace can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Alright. So do I want to gain 2 life? That's the only thing I can do anyways. Next. Next. I'll attack. Attack. And then he'll defend. And I could get +1/+1 in Death Touch, or I can just let it go. And he let it through, so there's no reason for that. Yeah, I don't hate the idea of a company just saying, look, we don't have the resources to do this right, so let's just not do it right now. Let's put it on the back burner. Now, the problem, unlike other companies, is you can't just have video game companies don't seem to have the capability or the intelligence to not announce things before they're ready to be announced. So had this game never been announced in the first place, and that would have been a better experience. So here, wants to know, do I want to search the library for a basic land card or gate card and reveal it, put it in your hand, and then shuffle your library? Yes. What do we want to take? Something like that would be the best pick. And so this has the eye on it showing that it's been revealed, which is what they want. And then next, all attack. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain minutes. So this ability would be somewhat useful. But we kind of need more cards on the field. And we're going to probably win anyways. I've seen a lot of this where there seem to be a lot of weak players. Like people who don't know what they're doing, even in comparison to me, who really doesn't know what they're doing as far as Magic the Gathering. Perhaps this is a case of I am just so ignorant that I don't even understand other people's strategies. But a lot of times it also kind of just feels like it boils down to a situation where people are mana locked. Alright. Target a permanent card. What does this do? So we want a new card that would be returned from our graveyard. Right. Is there a scroll here we can do? That looks interesting. That'd be a cool one to play, but I think we want is probably this. Next. All attack. I guess. Just those to attack. I don't have enough. In the turn. Gamma Sutra has another article here. Nintendo's New York City Overwatch launch event was canceled by Blizzard. Apparently BlizzCon is only a couple weeks from now, and several groups have already gotten together and are planning to boycott it. Now, the thing about BlizzCon is most of the people who were going to attend it have already bought their tickets, so there's either going to be a lot of no-shows and maybe attempts at cancellations, or there's going to be a lot of people that show up because they've already purchased a ticket, and cancellations, by which I mean disputes on credit cards, or people are going to show up and complain and protest. There we go. And is this a land card? That can't be right. So put all the this game does seem to want to help you somewhat. Like it totally does seem like it wants you to know what you're doing. Next. This guy's trying to play some instant all attack. And then sure, let's go ahead and give somebody +1, and while we're doing that, let's give somebody else a +1. So yeah, I'm a little suspecting that BlizzCon itself might just be canceled, although I don't know if they can afford to cancel BlizzCon and just refund everyone's sales. Like that's kind of the problem. But honestly, BlizzCon, for as bad as it went last year, should have canceled this year right after that point. It would... Oh, I'm about to lose, am I not? I have 2 cards, and I believe when you run out of cards in Magic the Gathering, you lose. Yeah, if he had figured out how to make me draw a couple more cards, his strategy may have won. So the first victory gives you 250 gold, and then the next victory gives you 100 gold, but the fourth victory, I think, gives you 1 card. And so since you're actually getting cards with the daily wins, it really makes sense to play Magic the Gathering every day until you get 15 wins, which is kind of a lot. But had Hearthstone ever done anything like that, man, I would have played a lot more at the beginning of the 5 years that I played Hearthstone. I would have tried really, really hard to get all of the cards. But yeah, okay. So 2 life or play this. I kind of need to play this because I need a red on the field. Need a red on the field so I could do this. You know what? We'll just risk it. We'll just risk taking damage the first turn. But inevitably, I will stop. I won't be playing Magic every single day. Like, and it really is every single day. That's even the weirder part about it is just how much work you're spending there. Instant and sorcerer spells cost 1 less to cast. Goblin Electromancer. Interesting. This is the equivalent of the Sorcerer's Apprentice card. Take action. Yes, I do want... I want that on the field. Alright, and pass. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article here for the Switch. The Otome visual novel Kissed by the Baddest Bidder is coming to the Switch in 2019. Otome stories are young maiden stories, so like teenage girl visual novel romance things. So you can probably figure that out with the guys being shown there. Alright. What can we do? Let's see. Blue, blue, red. Play this. Put this on the field. Power is equal to the total number of instants and sorcery cards you own in exile and in your graving. When Crackling Drake enters the battlefield, draw a card. So, instants and sorcery spells in my graveyard. Which means if I could find a way to get rid of my own deck, there would be an interesting maneuver there. I can't stop the one with Death Touch or kill my guy. Can't play that. So we'll play this. Look at the top 3 cards in your library. You may reveal instant sorcery cards from among them and put them in your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of your library in no order. So, deal damage. Okay. So, deal damage to a target creature. I'm still not sure what the... I'm gonna put that on the bottom. I'm not sure what adventure means. You may cast this card as an adventure. After you do exile it, you may then cast this creature later from exile. Interesting. Spells to cast. Is destroying everything in my hand. Let's see. Right. So, place this on the field. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a 1/1 counter on this guy. Alright. Take your pick. Kill this one, I guess. So I mentioned how League of Legends has got a whole slew of things. So one of the things that they've got is League of Legends Arcane, La Series anime in France for Fortnite pour Riot, or no, not for Fortnite. I don't think League of Legends. So there's this announcement video. We could get an idea of what it looks like here. This is not particularly pretty big, but I don't want to go full screen either. I don't disagree with the idea that that making the characters that are slightly beloved. I've seen a lot of cosplayers do League of Legends. I've seen a lot of fan art on League of Legends. Not as much as probably you could. Most of it is Jinx, and I don't think I could name any of the other characters. So turning it into more of a cartoon and having that cartoon built in around it is not a bad idea at all. This animation looks like a 3D CGI level of quality that's fine, but not particularly great. Let's see. Is there anything that could defeat me? I could defeat me and give him health. That could block me. So I'm just going to do no attacks. Mess. Mass is the new key phrase to me. Interesting. Hearthstone, in their commercials for Hearthstone, had gone that Pixar cartoony direction. League of Legends really should have done this earlier, though. And clearly they are just swooping in and probably overcommitting themselves. And at the core of it, you're still trying to get people to play League of Legends or watch esports of League of Legends, which is a MOBA game and is not super fast or super interesting to me. So even if I did somehow find myself watching Arcane, the animated series, which totally does not look like anime and seems to be coming out as a French CGI cartoon, if anything. Even if they got me to watch the cartoon series, though, I have no interest in the game. That being said, they are releasing other games in the same universe, so they are trying very hard to so that was a 3/3 zombie, and this can attack, but this has death touch. So, well, this can actually attack because it's flying. And then the other ones can't attack. So I guess if maybe they made a game, if they, one of which I think is a card game,
has crept too far. Tear it down.
Maybe that would interest me. But I don't
picked the wrong fight.
really think that. Yeah, there's a mistake here in how this plays. You bring out a planeswalker and then it starts getting really chatty. Right. Now on this, need to play the blues. Draw a card, jumpstart. What does jumpstart do? You may cast this card from the graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying the other costs. Interesting. It would be kind of hard to decide to leave Magic the Gathering to play a League of Legends card game, to then know that I'm probably going to leave the League of Legends card game for whatever the Marvel Second Dinner Binbro card game is. Unless there was just a announcement, a cancellation of that. Even at that point, I think it would probably be smarter just to stick with Magic the Gathering. I guess an announcement, I should say, and I'm super excited about this, is that I've made at least 3 new subscribers in 1 week just by starting to stream Magic the Gathering, which is a major improvement. Major improvement than what I usually get. Usually I lose a subscriber, gain a subscriber, and I was very stagnant for the past few months. Also, I think I'm getting a lot more views. So, not in a huge amount more views, but more views on average. And I will take 6 views on average instead of 0 views on average, which is what I was getting for Hearthstone. And hopefully when there's a big event, I'll be able to get what I was getting, which was often several hundred views. And ideally, and this is just ideally, I get a lot more subscribers and a lot more views. I like to get up to 1,000 subscribers so we could run ads, make a few pennies on these videos. I'll do it responsibly, just like 1 at the beginning, or whatever. I don't know if I want to do mid-rolls or anything like that. For as long as my pre-recorded footage is, even a mid-roll ad wouldn't be that bad. But I do have to fully admit that YouTube has gotten terrible. Really terrible about what does Afterlife do? Let's start with that on the field, I guess. Like, YouTube has gotten terrible with the ads. Really bad. And I've gotten bad too about covering news. Like, this is going to be the last game we play for this recording, because I do need to break things up. And I've barely done any news coverage. So let's do some more news coverage. TechRaptor has an article here. Stranded Sails, Explorers of the Cursed Islands review. Looks like it's probably a simplistic Stardew Valley clone. Yep, doesn't look particularly interesting to me. Scroll down, 6.5. Stranded Sails is a great survival experience for young gamers and people who are new to the genre, but experienced players will find little in the way to appreciate of appreciable challenge. The mechanics are easy to learn. It's a compelling story with clever writing and adorable art style and catchy music. By the way, Free Cell Quest, I think, really did have only 2 or 3 songs at most. It was just going through the exact same songs over and over again. Let's see. Whenever a Plague Crafter enters the field, each player sacrifices a creature playing Planeswalker. Each player who can't discards a card. Alright. That's not what I want to do. Can I hit Z and undo this? Control Z. Nope, can't undo that. Alright, well. That was the wrong card to play. If you make something indestructible, can you then sacrifice it? The cons for the game Stranded Sails are the gameplay lacks challenge, the building system is too rigid, and death has no real consequences. Gamatsu has the Famitsu scores for this week. As Divine Kimura is 28 of 40, that's a real low score. Concrete Genie got 35 out of 40 as a PS4 exclusive, so people, they like that. Dusk Diver got 32 out of 40. This was, that was the one probably should have had on the field first. Frederick Resurrection of Music for the Switch got 27 out of 40, pretty low. Ghost Recon Breakpoint got 32 out of 40. Giga Wrecker Alt got 30 out of 40. I thought Giga Wrecker Alt would have been a little bit higher.
This power ought to be shared. Share in our strength.
So if you lose 3 health, you will, on the Planeswalker, you gain the greatest amount of toughness among creatures you control. Interesting. Little Town Hero for the Switch is 33 out of 40. Truberbrook for the PS4 and Switch is 28 of 40. And Warlord Z is 31 out of 40. So, with the exception of Concrete Genie and a couple of games that made 32 out of 40, it was a pretty bad week for Famitsu scores, and that seems in line. That does definitely seem in line with the week that occurred. Didn't feel like there was a protection from the color of your choice until the next turn. Right. So, none of those cards can be played. Is this flying? We might as well do all attack.
I'm meant for other things.
Yeah, the Planeswalkers have about a quarter of the amount of life the hero would have, so it's an interesting balancing question about whether you want to go after a Planeswalker or go after the hero.
Go there now. We strike now.
Choose 2 target permanent cards from your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped. Let's see. I'm gonna go no blocks. And then do this. And then all attacks. Let's see. For the Xbox, we have a game called Just Ignore Them, now available for the Xbox One. Seems to be some kind of horror game. It's probably not very good, if I was to guess. Gamatsu has an article here. The PlayStation Awards for 2019 are set for December 3rd. Weird to have a PlayStation Awards, particularly for 2019. It is questionable what would even be in the running. because it's hardly like the PlayStation this year had a lot to let's see. It would be weird, to say the least, to think about what could even have been the game of the year. Alright. Let's see. Alright, I want all to attack this. And then I don't think it matters, so let's just do it like that, because I think this ability will keep on triggering even once this has left the field. Yep.
You are blind.
It's apparently this year is going to be the PlayStation's 25th anniversary. We are at the point where it's very likely that the PlayStation will have an entire generation in the PlayStation 4 where there will be no DLC or version of GTA at all. Starting block. Enter the field tapped. And what do we have? We have a blocker that could block. We have one that can attack here. And one that I'm going to attack here. Yeah, I think I actually have a victory if I just attack here. Let's see. That one dies. That gives me a health. Brings some of these flying creatures back on the field.
I have lost too much to allow you victory.
Oh, can you do something? Because I've won. Like, all I have to do is block, and then my ability kills you. Well, the trample could have done something bad. I'm liking this, and you know, with some help, I could even make it to gold tier by the end of this semester, of this 15-day season. And yeah, now we need more victories to get more gold. And we're going to have to start spending our gold. We have enough where it's reasonable. Let's see. There's something here with this, though. Like, why my current level? Completing quests, weekly wins, and special events. So I'm not getting any XP until I finish this quest or the weekly win, which we already did. Yeah, you're going to get your weekly win done Monday, if you play Monday. Because if you get all the daily wins, which is 15, you're going to get 15 wins for the weekly win. And then you're going to spend the rest of the week not really getting any mastery experience, except for doing the daily quests. So that's going to put you in a weird position. One more article before we wrap up. OpenCritic has a article here. Google Stadia launch begins November 19th for early adopters. Not really anything much more to say there. I could make fun of Google Stadia's negative lag claims, but that's unnecessary. Like, we'll see. Like, I kind of hope Stadia does succeed, but I have very large suspicions it won't. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.